All right, today I am going to attempt installing this guy right here. Terribly small package. Okay, there he is. All right. This is the GDEMU, as said right there. This is an optical disc emulator for the Sega Dreamcast. If you're familiar with the Xstation or the Fenrir on the Saturn, this is kind of the equivalent of that. This is able to replace the laser in here, which you can't see because the lid doesn't open up that far, but it replaces the laser, essentially pretends that it's the laser, tricks the Dreamcast into thinking it's the laser and feeds it data. So when the Dreamcast is like, hey, give me data, the GDEMU is like, oh, I'm the laser and this is what I'm reading, here you go. And that's how it works for layman purposes, with not getting into FPGA designs and things like that. So that's the gist of it. So I'm going in entirely blind with this, and we're gonna see if we can do this in 30 minutes because that's how much battery life I have on my camera up there. So let's see what's in here. We have some standoffs if we're feeling standoffish. So I have taken apart my share of Dreamcast. First, make sure nothing in there. So we are going to start taking this apart. So normal screwdriver, nothing fancy here. So let's get to it. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Boom. One down. Ugh, this is like a second-hand Dreamcast, obviously. And I felt some gunk in there just now. Come on, baby. Get caught. There we are. Ugh. I wish I still had my Dreamcast. Sadly, like most adults, my parents gave away all my stuff. So I hope that it actually went to some child or young adult that's appreciating it. But in all honesty, it probably went to a dirty scalper. So, okay, so I'll put him over there. The last screwdriver, or screw, is under the modem, actually. So let me pop that off. So 4 screws. Sega made this easy for us. So yeah, I've taken apart a few Dreamcasts in my life, so I know where all these things are. Once we do that, I think she's open, if I recall. I think she's ready to pop open. Oh, she's just opening for us. There we are. Okay. We're in. That's it. That's it, guys. 4 screws, and then there's everything. Pretty awesome, I gotta say. Okay. So this is where I should have probably read something, but let's wing it. Let's see, what's the worst that happens? I break this? Well, we're replacing it with that anyway, so who cares? Let's see. Does this board just pop out? You just pop out? Okay. Looks like we have a connector. Okay, take this shield off. Just going, like I said, I'm doing this blind just to see if this is super easy, then really all my friends should do this. The whole reason I'm doing this is so I can play Phantasy Star Online back on the Dreamcast, version 2. That's what I grew up playing. So I play on Affinia, or whatever you want to say, quite a bit with Blue Burst. There's one more right here. So I was like, you know what? I want the OG experience that I experienced in my bedroom when I was like 13 years old. Let's see if we can get that. Okay. All right, so shield is... Oop, there we go. That Ah, there it is. Okay. So there's the connector. Connector. Okay. So we actually didn't need to do anything with the laser. I removed it from the ribbon connector for no reason at all. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So there's our, so this guy is just going to connect right into there, I'm assuming. So let's get the line up. Okay. And yeah, it looks like standoff is maybe needed here. Okay, well, maybe we can fit this guy through here now. There we go. Okay, whatever. We'll just go through like that. So what I did was, I'm used to just standoffs that you just pop in and then they, you know, expand once they get through the hole. So I don't know, these are huge. So I just grabbed a piece of plier and ripped this centerpiece, which is supposed to be the hook, it seems like. It seems like the centerpiece is this hook that you're supposed to push through and then it grabs, but it was making the standoff absolutely massive. So rather than deal with that, I just pushed it through and now it should have some support when I push it down, and there we go. Yeah, so there he is. Okay, that's it. That's it, I guess. So now let's get an SD card and we're done. So there we go. Me with no experience doing this, without never looking at anything. Well, I have experience with like Xstation and other ODEs. It's my first time doing GDEMU. Was able to do it in a few minutes if I didn't hit an issue with these huge standoffs. I'm going to try and get this into big these are. Look at that. That's not going to fit in a Dreamcast. It didn't even fit in the GDEMU. That's crazy. Yeah, so that's what I was having an issue with. Okay, so that took approximately, looking at my camera, 10 minutes to do. Maybe even less than 10 minutes. So we have the support, we have that there, everything's good. Some people will route like an SD card cable and stuff. There's no real reason for that though, in my opinion. You're just gonna load it up with tons of games and you're rarely ever gonna open the Dreamcast. I mean, you could just leave it here like this, right? You actually have access to the SD card slot right through the top too. So yeah, there's really no need for an extension or anything like that, unless you want to fill this gap here, but it works, it's whatever. So let's get the SD card and let's hook this up and then finish it up. Cool. All right, everything's been put back together. SD card is in there, and I actually installed all these standoffs on there rather than just the one, because there is a button on there, and that button is for disk swapping. So every time you want to switch, like if you're playing Shenmue or D2 or something and you want to switch disks, you actually hit that to go to the next sequential disk, if I recall. So yeah, you are going to be putting some pressure on there, so I figured to use all the standoffs rather than just the one major one. So here it is. Let's start it up and see what we get. Power them up and go through the whole process. So there we are. We are in the GD menu. So this lets us choose the games that are on the SD card. So yeah, I just loaded Shenmue, Choo Choo Rocket, and Skies of Arcadia. So we can just choose which one we want to play. Hit A, loads the game. And as you can see, we're in the game. I don't have a VMU in my controller right now. But there you go. We're in Shenmue. So we could just restart it. And we can go to a different game. Let's do that. Let's do Skies of Arcadia. This is pretty crazy for an installation that took me less than 10 minutes. I really can't think of a reason why you wouldn't do this to your Dreamcast. I will say I did hit some snags with the SD card. So since I'm a photographer, videographer, as like a hobbyist, my SD cards are all like V62 SD cards. It seems like the GDEMU has an issue with those. So I had to just use your basic SD card, SanDisk Extreme, just your basic SD card, and it worked fine. So there you go. So the whole reason I got this was to play Phantasy Star Online on the Sylverant server, I believe. I play on Affinia, as I mentioned, and I'm really looking forward to getting the Dreamcast hooked up and connected to an actual Dreamcast PSO1 version 2 server and experiencing that. So there you go. This was me going in entirely blind with the GDEMU, getting it up and running getting it installed in 10 minutes, getting it up and running in 30, including the SD card issues that I was having. Really cool. Let's do choo-choo. Let's just go through all of them. And the awesome thing with this is because it's just dumping the data straight from the SD card to the Dreamcast at maximum speeds, you are getting the fastest load times that you could possibly get from the device. So just awesome. Awesome stuff. Yeah, no VMU found. Okay, so that will be this. My next video will be on setting up a DreamPi and connecting this GDEMU Dreamcast on PSO to the Sylverant Dreamcast PSO servers, using the DreamPi as the middleman to be essentially the modem that the Dreamcast is going to connect to. So we're going to set that up and do a video on that. So tune in for that. All right, later.